Good morning, all. Hope you are able to hear me.
Good morning, Naveen. Yes, we can hear you.
Good morning, sir.
You
Yes.
see the screen, right? So last session we have started an implementation project. We start the realization phase, right? So in realization phase, we discussed about what are the system architecture, what are the in any whatever may be the project, there will be 3 servers as we discussed. Any project that could be a implementation project, support project, testing project, right? Rollout project or enhancement project or whatever may be the project, there will be minimum 3 servers. Minimum 3 servers. First one is a development server, right? We discussed what is development server, but again we will see today also development server, right? Quality and testing server or quality assurance server, and third production server, right? So we discussed what are the different statuses and what are the different tests will be performed in the development server, quality server, and production server. So once again, we will go through this particular scenario. Okay, so here, before understanding the architecture, we discussed what do you mean by a client, right? So whenever, whatever may be the server, everything will be divided as a client. So whenever you are whenever you are trying to log in an SAP system, then first compulsory we need to give client number. So in general, as I said earlier also, client means customer. But in SAP terminology, client is a different. Who is a client here? Client is an organizational and legal entity. Client is an organizational and legal entity. Here, what do you mean by entity? Entity is nothing but a recognition. Means, as I said earlier also, so in general, whenever you are attending an interview, then definitely they will ask you one question on which client environment you are working, right? Who is your client is different, and which client environment you are working is different. Who is your client is nothing but who is your customer. With customer you have worked. Okay, which customer you have implemented SAP. So Ready Labs here. But which client environment? Which client environment is nothing but which client environment you have worked. Okay, they were asking. So the question would be anything, the number we need to say from 000 to 999. The client number may starts with 000 to 999, means total in SAP environment, we can use 1,000 different clients in one particular server. Clear? So here we can see. As I said, legal entity. What do you mean entity here? Entity is nothing but a recognition. Means if I say client 200, means the client 200 is having some separate structure. So we are recognizing client 210. So 210 in the sense some sort of structure it is having. So we can recognize if someone is working on client 200 in that particular organization, means we can say that, okay, this particular person is working for so and so company code. Same thing, client 300. So we can recognize this particular person, means the people who are working in this particular organization, they can recognize which client number. So that's the reason we call it as a legal entity. Legal entity, legally recognized in the SAP system. It is an independent unit. It is an independent client, is an independent unit. Clear? In one particular server. Okay. So all the business data is protected here. Okay. So other clients cannot access the system. Other clients in the sense, for example, as I said that we can use the client numbers from 000 to 999. For example, I am having in my development server, I am having 2 clients. For example, one is client 100 and another one client 200, right? 2 clients I'm having in my development server. One is client 100, client 200. I'm having access to only client 100. As a user, I have access to client 100 and I don't have access to client 200. Clear? So whatever data client 100 we are having, only that particular data I can view it because I have access to that. But if I'm trying to view the data of client 200, I can't view it because I don't have access or authority to see, to view the data of that particular client. So that's the reason here it is saying that all the business data is protected here. It will be protected in the client. What is the data here? What kind of data will be protected? Okay. Each client has its own data environment. Just know, right? It is having its own environment, data environment, and therefore its own master and transactional data assigned to user master records. So here just ignore this. So here you can see last session also I have I told you. So for example, client, this is a client, and what it will have in client, all the user master records, user authorizations. So as soon as you joined the organization and you started working as an end user, right? You have assigned some particular company code and you need to post invoices, for example. Then they will give you one system access, and in that one particular client access. So what are the things will be, what is your personal data will be given to that client, in the sense your accesses, what are the accesses you will have, all your user records, everything will be mentioned in this client environment. Means you are an associate, then they will clearly mention in that client that this particular person user ID is so and so user ID, and this person is having access to only invoice posting, right? Only authorization will be given to invoice posting. Same time, your senior person, your assistant manager or a team lead, he will also get authorization, right? User ID. And same time, he is not only having an invoice posting, same time he can approve some sort of payments, or he can approve immediate payments, right? So here authorizations and user IDs data will be maintained under client environment, whatever client we have an access. And same time, customization, what is the other data will be maintained under client? Customization means client dependent customizing data. As I said, that configuration and customization. What do you mean by customization? Only this particular client having, as I said, that SAP standard business process and customer dependent business process. We took 80 business processes are found in client environment. Out of that, SAP is able to map directly with standard SAP 71 business processes. But 9 business processes we are not able to map with SAP standard business process. Why? Because those are specific to client. The business processes, 9 business processes are specific to that particular client. No other customer will use that. Okay, then that will be customized. That will be customized by ABAPer. That will be customized by ABAPer, and whatever customization data is there, that will also stored under this particular client. And same way, what is the other data we will have in the client? One is application data. What do you mean by application data? So we have several master records, master data, like GL master data, vendor master data, customer master data, bank master data, tax master data, right? So like that, asset master data, like that, we will have some master data. So all those master data will be saved under client, right? And apart from that, not only master data, we have a transactional data also, right? While doing GL account, we will have a rent account. Okay, we will have a salaries account. We will have some sort of interest account, commission account, right? So that is considered as so that we will use at the time of doing the transactions. So those are called GL accounts. Those are called general ledger accounts. So that particular data will be maintained under client. So here, what is a client? Client is an independent entity, legal entity, which contains the user master data, right? Customizing data, okay, and application data. So all together will be there in the client. Okay, so here the most important thing in SAP, client is represented by 3-digit number. 3-digit number. So any client, if you see SAP, as soon as you log in, you will find 3-digit number. So that is called client number, right? So the client number can start from 000 to 999. Client number can be start from 000 to 999. So total how many clients? 000 to 999 in the sense can be created up to 1,000 clients. Up to maximum how many clients we can create? 1,000 clients. Okay. Any questions here? Any questions still here?
No, sir.
Right. So here the most the other thing we have already discussed this, but I am reiterating in a different way. In a physical SAP system, there can be multiple clients. As I said, see in development server, if you take here 3 servers: development server, quality server, and production server. This is one server. So in one particular server, we can have one client or multiple clients. We can have one client or multiple clients. Okay, in the same way, here it is saying in physical SAP system, there can be multiple clients. Okay, with standard installation. With standard installation, SAP delivers. So when we take a license from SAP, okay, so standard SAP will give you 3 clients by default. Whoever purchase across the globe, whatever company has taken the SAP server or they have purchased SAP product, it will give you by default 3 different clients. What are they? 000 client, 001 client, and 066 client. So these are the standard SAP clients, which is provided, which is given by SAP, right? Out from 000 to 999. As I said that we can use any client number. Okay, but in interview, if they asked you which client environment you are worked, then never ever say these 3 client numbers. I have worked on 000 client. Don't say this. I have worked on 001 client. Don't say this. And I have worked on 066 client. No, don't say this. Because these are provided standard. SAP will be given these clients. These are reserved for some activities. Okay. And I'll tell you one more client number also. We are not supposed to use it. So remember that which client environment you have worked, then out of 000 to 999, don't ever say that we have worked on 000 client or 001 client or 066 client. Okay. So what is 000 client? We will see. Okay. Client 000 is reference client. Client 000 is a reference client, and it should not be deleted or changed at any time from the system. Clear? What do you mean by this 000 client? See, SAP will give pre-configured, predefined companies in 000 client. Means already a kind of guide it will be provided in 000 client. So whatever data is there in client 000, we can't delete it, we can't modify it, we can view it. Why we need to view it? For example, you are new to a consultant position. And you are started working for Accenture. And Accenture has assigned one customer to you. You have started implementation project. So to implement this particular project, there is 15 to 20 days time is there. And you have given access to development server of that particular customer. So before implementation, you want to understand completely end-to-end process, right? So to understand end-to-end process, not the customer process, complete SAP implementation process, okay, because you are a fresher and you don't have a previous knowledge or previous experience. So in this 000 client, all the complete steps will be there, guide, a kind of guide. So we can view it, we can read it, we can understand it from 000 client, which is updated by SAP AG. The company of SAP will update it and will given to the customer, right? As a consultant, we can read it, we can understand it, But if you want to delete anything, you can't delete it. If you want to change anything, we can't change it. Only read access will be there for this particular 000 client. That's the reason we call it as a reference client. Reference client. Understood this? 000 client. So don't ever say that I have worked on a 000 client, because 000 client across the globe, it's a reference client. Okay, next one, 001 client. The customer uses client 001 as a sample client. As a sample client. What do you mean by a sample client? Here again. So whatever data is there in 000, the same data will be there in 001. So last session we have done, right? Sandbox client. What do you mean by sandbox client? For practice purpose, we use this sandbox client. Here I have taken 100, but in real time, we call it as a 001 client. So what we can do, we can, whatever things we understand in 000, we can practice in 001 client. 001 client, we can practice how to create a company, how to create a business area, how to create a functional areas, right? How to configure. So everything we can practice here in 001 client. So we can edit this, we can modify this, we can delete this. Whatever data is there in 001 client. So this we call it as a sandbox client. Clear? The customer uses client 001 as a sample client, nothing but sample client, right? After installation, both clients are identical, but after an upgrade, client 1000 as an additional customizing data. So ignore this, not an issue here. I'll explain this while doing upgradation project. So understood the difference between 000 and 001? 000 is only for read and 001 for practice. Is this clear, everyone? Any questions on this? Hello?
No, sir.
Okay,
No.
thanks. So another client 066. This is again one more client number, 066 client. Okay, this is called early watch service. Early watch service. For example, you have joined in a organization as a FI consultant. Okay, and you have started configuration in real-time environment. But your project owner or your project manager, you are in Hyderabad and your project manager is in US, Texas. Okay, so whatever customization and configurations you are doing in your environment, in your system, okay, by sitting there in Texas, he will have access to 066 client. 066 client is also a standard client. What does it mean? It's an early watch service. So what do you mean by this early watch service? In the sense, remote access. This is remotely accessed. Okay. So whatever changes you are doing, that will be watched by lively by your project manager. Whatever configurations you are doing, whatever configuration changes you have done, what are the customizations you have implemented. So all those stuff, okay, he can watch remotely in this particular client, 066 client. Only those project managers will have the access to 066 client, not the all consultants. Understood? Any questions? So whenever which client environment you have worked, in the sense, first of all, don't use these three environments. That is 000, 001 and 066. 000 for reference client, 001 for sample client, and 066 for early watch client. Clear? Don't use these three, right? And same time, don't use one more client, client 800. Client 800. Client 800, SAP has provided for training and practice purpose. Training and practice purpose across the globe. whenever you want to, for example, this particular course you want to practice, right? So here this practice is different. Here whatever practice we are doing is different. This is whatever client 800, it is for education purpose. This is whatever client we are calling here 001. This is a real time. But whatever client 800, it's not a real time. Okay, it is only for education purpose. So we will in education purpose, whatever client we are using, client 800, it will not have a three different servers like development server separately, quality server separately, and production server separately. We will not have in client 800. We will have all the servers in one client only. We need to, in client 800 only, we need to do configuration, we need to do quality testing, and we need to do production also. All three activities will perform under only one client because it's not a real-time environment, client 800. It is an education purpose. Clear? So that's the reason across the globe, wherever you have taken education purpose, the SAP server or installation, then they will give you client 800 only by default. So never ever say that I have worked on a client 800. Which means that you have not worked on a real time, you have worked on only as a practice. Even though you are keeping all the experience in real time, okay, but you have said that I have worked on a client 800 environment. Then because every day we will practice, right? For coming 6 to 7 months, we are going to practice under client 800. And you remember the client number. And you said that in interview, when they asked, what is the client number you have worked? And we will, in a flow, we will say that we have worked on client 800, but immediately they will call that you have worked, you don't have any real-time experience. Whatever experience you have kept on resume is a fake, because only one mistake we made. Almost all we have given all the answers, but except client environment, we said we have given a wrong answer. With that, they can quote it. You are from Amirpet or somewhere. Clear? So these 4 clients environment, never ever say that we have worked. One is 000 client, okay, 001 client, 066 client, and 800 client. So I'll advise you, don't use 8 series client at all. Apart from this, you can say any number, client number. Clear? Any questions here? Yes, no?
No.
Okay, already we discussed system landscape and system architecture. What do you mean by landscape? As I said that how many servers will be there in any project?
3.
Minimum how many servers will be there in any project?
3.
3 servers, right? So here landscape means, landscape is nothing but arrangement of servers in a company, arrangement of servers in a company. Okay, as I said that by default, the landscape of any company, any project will be 3 servers. And we have already discussed what are the 3 servers: development server and customizing server. And who will have access to this? Only consultants. Only we will have access to this. Okay, and next server, quality assurance server. Only consultant and end user will have access to this for testing purpose. And production server. End users will have a complete access, and consultants will have only display access. Okay, in production server, we won't have access. We will have only edit, we will have only view access. We can't modify, we can't delete anything in production server. Only end user can do the activities, day-to-day activities. So this is landscape. Okay, so here, as I said that, common client roles, right? Development and customizing server. Who will have this? This is, we will do configuration and client settings and creation of new functionality, customization. Quality assurance, we will do testings. Production activities and business data will be maintained in this particular server, right? So here, landscape architecture, as I said that, right? So any architecture we have, as we discussed earlier also, there are 3 layers will be there. One is database layer, application layer, and presentation layer, right? So once the configuration and customization has developed in development server, then that will be transported. You know that. What do you mean by transported? Who will transport from one server to another server data? Who will transport? Who will transport the data from one server to another server?
Consultant.
Who? Which consultant?
Basis consultant.
Basis consultant. Okay, he's a technical consultant. Basis consultant is a technical consultant. If I want to move the data, if I want to transport the data, okay, from one server to another server, then who will do that? Basis consultant, technical person. Okay, but if I want to move the data within the server to different clients, then who has to do that? Who has to do that within the server from one client to another client? Functional consultant. We will move.
FI.
Whoever, it could be FI consultant, or see here, as I said, example I took. See here, the data is in 110 client, okay, and we need to move to 130 client. The data is there in 110 client. It has to be moved to 130 client. Then this particular data need to be, it is in development server only. Okay, in one server, if the data need to move from one client to another client, because we have done the configurations, customization, okay, here, and it has to be tested. So here we can't do testing in this particular client. So we have created one test client that is called development test client. So that first the data has to move this particular client. Then as a consultant, we have to move that. As a functional consultant, we need to move the data from one client to another client within the server. Remember this. And same time, okay, here it will be object developments. Who will do this? ABAPer will do this. And this particular data will be moved from 120 client to 130 client. This will be moved by ABAPer. Clear? So within the server, the data moved from one client to another client, that is a responsibility of consultant. That could be a ABAP consultant or a functional consultant. Okay. But if the data need to move from one server to another server, one server to another server, then as a functional consultant, we can't move it. Okay. As a ABAPer also can't move it. Who has to move it? Basis consultant, technical consultant. Even the ABAPer is also a technical consultant, but his responsibility is writing a programming, development of functionalities. But who is a real hardware person in SAP? Basis consultant. The basis consultant will move the data from one server to another server. Clear? First, the data will move from development server to quality server, and in quality server, all the testings will be taken place. If everything goes well, if everything is go well and client accepts, customer accepts everything, then this particular data, okay, will be moved to production server, client place, production server. If some issues are there, some configurations are not working properly, some functionalities are not working properly, okay, some scenarios are not working properly, then this particular data will move back from quality server to development server. Because whatever things are not working, again we need to configure here. And after configuration, again we need to send it to quality server. And once it's checked, then at the end it will move to production server. But here the data will not move from production server to quality server. Remember this, because the real-time data will be there in production server. So never ever the real-time data will move from production server to quality server. Remember that. Clear? The flow will be like this, not like this. Any questions? Okay. Next one, as I said, that same thing, the same whatever we have saw, client 800, last one. Okay, client and 100, client 110, client 120, client 130, right? So the same thing what we have explained in the last session. Next one, quality assurance server. Also we have discussed, right? What are the different testings will be done? What are the different testings? One in client 200, unit testing will be done. What do you mean by unit testing? Department testing. Finance department will do separately end-to-end testing. MM department will do complete end-to-end testing. Okay, so finance CTMs will do finance module testing. HR CTMs will do HR module testing. Next one, integration testing means one module testing, one module will start and ends with another module, as we saw last time. So the same thing, it starts with one module and ends with another module, correct? So in this, the test will be done to check each module is integrated or not, right? So each module is into procure to pay. As I said, we took example. Procurement is nothing but production and planning, right? And payment is finance module. So from procurement is one module. Okay, receiving of invoices one module, payment of thing will be another module, right? Here two modules are involved. One is module is involved and finance module is involved, right? So when we can do the payment, in the sense, once the procurement is done, right? And after that, vendor supplies the goods or raw material. Once the goods or raw material are supplied, then vendor will send the invoice to a accounts payable department or finance. Once accounts payable or finance department will verify, and they will punch the invoice in the system, and as per the due date, the payment will be released. So here two modules need to be integrated. Clear? What are those modules? module, material management module, and as well as finance module need to be integrated. So the test will start from material management and it need to end with finance module. So whether the cycle is complete, working perfectly or not. So that testing, we call it as an integration testing. Integration testing. Next one, UAT testing. As I said that it's not a test actually, it's a document. UAT is a document. What is UAT? Means the client, the customer will check all the scenarios, sample scenarios, important scenarios and all in the quality assurance system, quality assurance server. Okay, they will check and they will approve. They will sign it that everything is working perfect. We can move this particular data to production server, production environment. So that particular approval, we call it as a UAT, user acceptance. Who is going to use this particular software? We'll call him as an user or end user. And they are accepting and they are giving their approval, then that is considered as an user acceptance test. Okay. User will be prepared one document called UAT. Done. So here again we saw that 210 client, training 1, training to end users and super users. Who will give the training? With the help of functional consultants. Who will give? CTMs will give. Core team members will give to the trainings to end users. And for super users, who will give? Functional consultants will give. And 220 client, trainings to power users, high level employees, right? So who will give? Functional consultant will give the trainings to power users. Okay. And again, production server, third server, production server. In production server, there will be two types of clients as we discussed. Pre-production client. Okay. That is, I have given the number called client 300. Okay. In pre-production client, we are going to load all the legacy data. What do you mean by legacy data? Before implementation of SAP, last 5 years, they are using Tally or Oracle, right? So the data will be there, GL master data, vendor master data, customer master data. So that data will be there, right? So that particular data need to upload from legacy to SAP. Clear? That master data and few transactional data, right? The day-to-day transactions which are performed in GL masters, which are performed in vendor master, which are performed in customer master. So all those particular data, transactional data, need to be uploaded from legacy system to SAP system. Okay. So as I said that two tools are there. There will be two tools to upload legacy data to SAP data. There will be two tools. To upload the data from legacy system to SAP, we use tools called LSMW tool, that is Legacy System Migration Workbench. So this is another interview question. The steps they will ask you. Can you please explain LSMW steps? Right? We are going to work on this particular LSMW at the end. Okay. And one more, if the data is less in legacy system, then we can do LSMW. Okay, if data is more, then we follow BDC. LSMW will be performed by functional consultant, but BDC, if the data is huge and it will take a lot of time if we go with the LSMW, okay, then it will be given to ABAPer. What ABAPer will do is, ABAPer will do background, he will write a program. Okay, and due to that particular program, within short time, the huge data will be uploaded from legacy system to SAP system. So that we call it as a BDC tool, batch data conversion. Batch data conversion. See here, the same thing I said, LSMW. In this tool, no need to write any program. Only steps will be there. We need to follow those steps. Total 14 steps will be there, and that we need to follow those 14 steps. Okay, it is functional consultant tool. This is our tool, LSMW. The functional consultant can upload the data. Okay, this I'm going to show. Okay, but BDC, if you want to upload the data through BDC, then we need to write a program. It is a programming concept. But as a functional consultant, remember, we are not going to write a single line program. As a functional consultant, we are not going to write a single line program also throughout our SAP career. As a functional consultant, whose responsibility to write a program? ABAPer responsibility. So we need to take the help of ABAPer. Clear, everyone? Till this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So once these are uploaded, once master data and transactional data is uploaded, then there will be one more testing will be done in pre-production system. In production system only, we have categorized two clients. One is pre-production client. Pre-production client, we have given a number called 300. Okay. And again, whatever numbers I have taken, that is an example. That's not standard. You can use those numbers in real time also. You can say, I have worked on client 100 or client 110 or client 120, client 130 or 200, 300, something like that. Okay. So one more test will be done. Okay. So whatever critical important scenarios are there, that will be tested in pre-production system, pre-production server. Okay. And that test, we call it as a regressive test or regression test. So again, one more question. What is the integration testing and what is the regression testing? What is the difference? Integration testing is nothing but checking the flow, process of flow from one module to another module. It's called integration testing. And what do you mean by regressive testing or regression testing? Testing the critical scenario of customer business process. We won't test. There are 80 business processes are there, right? Thousands of scenarios are there. Out of that, we won't test all the 1,000 scenarios. We will take 10 or 5 critical scenarios and we will test in pre-production environment. And that test, we call it as a regression test. Clear? Any questions here?
So in this, we need to take only sample collection.
Sample, critical.
Okay.
Means customer will say that, okay, invoice processing is, for example, vendor outgoing payment is important. Sorry, vendor outgoing payment is important scenario for me. Kindly test it. Right? We will show how the payment program is functioning in this particular environment. Not sample. Again, don't use sample. Sample means anything that could be.
Okay.
But here we will take the critical scenarios. Clear?
Yes.
Sample in the sense, out of 100, we will pick one and we will test it. And after that, we will pick another one, we will test it. That is called sample. But what do you mean by regression? Regression is nothing but the critical scenario. We won't pick like that. So the customer will say that this is critical one in my business process. This particular scenario is critical one in our business process. So those scenarios, we will test it in pre-production system. So that we call it as a regression testing. Clear? Any
Yes.
questions? Everyone, how about others? Okay. Last but not least, client 400. So here everything is done, and now customer is accepted everything, right? Then the data will move to client 400 in the same production environment. We will have one more client called client 400. So this we call it as a go live client. Okay. So here all approved and verified data will be transported to this particular client. The live data will be available in production data, and the client will go for go live. What do you mean by go live? Go live is nothing but the working on real-time data. Go live means we are going to work on real-time data. Okay. Once it's a go live, then there will no testing. Okay. The real-time activities will be performed. No testings after that. Only the real-time day-to-day activities will be performed. No testing is possible in production system. Yeah. Any questions in this particular architecture? Yes, no. Responses, please.
No.
Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Kindly respond because it's a virtual. I feel that if it is any network issue, also I'll keep on talking. That's the reason I'll ask every time any questions and all. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Next one more project. We saw different projects, right? So next project, till that we have done with the implementation project. This is a complete implementation cycle project. Okay. Next one, support and maintenance project. Support or maintenance project. Okay. So what do you mean by support or maintenance project? Ready Labs company, who is our customer? Ready Labs, right? Dr. Reddy's already implemented SAP in their company. For example, already they have implemented SAP in their company. During the work, if any type of issues they come across related to SAP day-to-day activities, they are getting some sort of issues. Then they are getting some sort of errors, functionality errors, right? Or some data issues, right? Some different issues they are getting. To avoid this difficulty, the company will give project to any software company. Okay. Any software company like Infosys, Accenture, or they will form their own IT division. Means instead of depending on third party, they will create their own customer support department in their organization only, right? IT division to support the project. Whenever they come across issues while using SAP, then the end user escalates. The issue in the form of tickets. First will be tickets. Every support project team mandatory should have ticketing tool. Same time, what do you mean by that? The software company and the end user company need to have the same ticketing tool. There are number of ticketing tools are there, right? Out of that, if we are giving support to Ready Labs, Dr. Reddy's, then they will use one ticketing tool, and the same ticketing tool we need to use. Whatever ticketing tool Ready Labs is using, the same ticketing tool we need to use. And what would be the support and maintenance teams is? Okay, the team size would be 5 to 20 members. 5 to 20 members. And the project duration, again, it depends, would be 1 to 5 years. The project duration would be 1 to 5 years. Again, whatever numbers I'm taking, that is approximately, it will be less or it will be more depending on the project. Okay. And the project duration also approximately I have taken 1 to 5 years. It could be less than that. It could be more than that. Okay. The people are the persons who involved in support project from IT companies are known as support consultants, right? Whoever, if we are working initially, we have joined the organization and probably they won't give you implementation project directly. Then few days we need to work on support projects. Then we will consider ourselves as a support consultants. support consultants. So support projects are of three types. Support projects are of three types. One is ticket-based support, production support, and go live support. Ticket-based support, first one, production support, and go live support. What do you mean by ticket-based support? Okay, so ticket-based support is nothing but when company is using SAP, then they may face some problems, some issues. Then the end user organization and SAP support organization will maintain some ticketing tools. Some ticketing tools. What are those? ServiceNow, all right, Remedy tool, or XYZ another tools. Okay, so these are the different ticketing tools. They are using it. Whenever end user face the problem, then they will raise the ticket in the tool by explaining the issue. Then the tickets are broadly classified into three categories or three types: urgent priority, high priority, and medium priority. Clear? Or in a different way: urgent priority, medium priority, or low priority. Like that, they will segregate. Company to company, it would be different. So urgent priority, I have taken example again. Urgent priority ticket, we need to address, not resolving. I'm saying here, we need to address within 4 hours of time. Means as soon as you receive a ticket, the pop-up will get reflected or it will be assigned to you. So it is mentioned as an urgent priority. Then within 4 hours, turnaround time would be 4 hours. Okay. So 4 hours time, we need to address, not resolve. So you can explain them, this is the issue, this will be resolved by so and so time. We need to address that ticket. We need to send the response to whoever has raised the request. So that we are giving an information prior before resolving it. Clear? And after that, high priority tickets. So normally 24 hours time, a day time. We need to address, not resolving again here, whatever hours I'm mentioning. And medium priority, 48 hours. So whatever time I am taking here, this is also approximately. So it will be changed according to service level agreement from client and the developer support team. Okay. So SLA, it depends upon the SLA. That is nothing but service level agreement. Clear, everyone? Any questions on this?
No.
No, sir.
Yeah. Next one, we have one more support, production support. Production support. So again, for example, you are working for an organization as an end user and you are facing some issue on SAP, right? So first, what you will do normally, we will raise a request, right? And we will wait for response. But I need to be resolved immediately. For example, I am getting a password issue. I'm not able to log in. So what we will do, every support team will give an IT customer support number, right? We will call them and we will say our issue and they'll try to resolve immediately. There will not be any TAT for that. Clear? So 24/7 support through internal communicator, right? Or through toll-free number. Every company will have this, right? 24/7 support through internal communicator or through toll-free number. Whenever issue received through a call or chat box, it needs to be addressed on priority. So whenever you call them and you are asking to reset a password, for example, they are busy with some other personal work, then they can't say that, call me after 15 minutes or 20 minutes. They won't say that. They try to resolve immediately. If it is not resolved, they say that we will get back to you. That's it. Okay. So that is called a production support, ticket-based support, production support. In ticket-based support, we will have a TAT, but production support, we don't have a TAT, right? And last but not least, one more, we will have go live support. What do you mean by a go live support? For example, we have implemented SAP in Ready Labs, Dr. Ready Labs, right? So implementation is completed. and the data is moved to production system, production server. Okay. So after implementation, whatever support, for example, if you purchased any electronic product, there will be a warranty for minimum 1 year, right? So if something went wrong in that, then they will replace it or they will repair it, right? Within a year time. But after a year, if something went wrong, then we need to pay from our pocket. In the same way, in SAP environment also, in any other software environment also, after implementation, whatever support we give, okay, we give to end user team, that support we call it as a go live support. Go live support. So again, it will be at the time of project only, they will discuss. So how many months they are going to give a free go live support? In the sense that could be either minimum 2 months or maximum of 6 months, not more than that. Minimum of 2 months or maximum of 6 months. Go live support will be there. And after 6th month, if they want, then they need to pay amount for that. So that we call it as a go live support. Any questions here? Any questions?
No, sir.
So either if you are customer support, you are working as a support team, then you can be placed in ticket-based support or calling or go live support. Okay. After this, we have one more project called rollout project. We'll finish these three and we'll close it for today. Okay, rollout project. What do you mean by rollout project? If a company has already implemented SAP in one country, head office. Okay, for example, we have different companies in different countries, same corporate office. Corporate offices in Hyderabad, India, and companies are spread across the globe, right? In Hyderabad, we have already implemented SAP, but across the globe, they are using different ERPs. If a company has already implemented SAP in one country, that is in head office, they would like to replicate the same for other countries or branches. Then these type of projects are called rollout projects. Understood? In India, head office, we are using SAP. In US, we have one branch or one office, they are using Oracle. Okay. So here SAP is more superior than Oracle, for example. Then in US also, we want to implement SAP. The same replication, we want to do it. Okay, 80% it's the same. The processors are same. Then we need to give the same lift and shift. Okay, the same copy we need to implement there. Then that particular projects, we call it as a rollout project. We call it as a rollout project. In other words, rollout means replicating. Rollout means what? Replicating the business model of SAP system in subsidiaries, nothing but other branches that have similar business processes. The main task of here, what are the, as I said, that 80% is similar business process, but 20% there is a chance of change. What are the changes we will have normally if we are lift and shifting from one country to another country? Then main task of localization is to fully implement the local requirement of subsidiary company, right? While preserving the integrity of the corporate model. Corporate model means the same thing. In India, we have a different tax system. US will have a different tax system. The legal requirement of India would be something different. Okay. And US would be something different. The fiscal year maintenance would be something, fiscal year would be maintained in India separately and in US separately. So there are few changes will be there. And the remaining all other process, procure to pay process, process, and everything will be the same. So whatever changes are there, that we need to implement there as per the legal requirement of that particular country. Okay. And what would be the team size of rollout project? The team size would be 5 to 20 members approximately. And the project duration would be 3 to 9 months. 3 to 9 months. Understood, everyone? What do you mean by rollout project? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Last but not last, this one, upgradation project. You know that what do you mean upgradation? Upgrading from old version to new version. Whenever SAP releases new version and we want to upgrade, right, from old version to new version, then that particular project we call it as an upgradation project. Now most of the project we can see in SAP environment, upgradation projects. Most of the projects. Why? Because SAP has came up with HANA database with, we call it as an S4 HANA. So most of the functional modules are upgrading from ECC to S4 HANA. So most of the projects are now upgradation projects. So if company already using SAP older version and they would like to upgrade the latest version of SAP, then these projects are known as upgradation projects. For the upgradation project, the team size would be 5 to 20 members approximately, and duration would be 3 to 9 months. 3 to 9 months. Okay. So last but not least here, enhancement project. Okay, this is one more project we have. Enhancement is nothing but changes. As I said earlier also, for example, I am doing different, already I am implemented SAP and I am having different departments like FI department, right? HR department, sales department, production department, like that. From past 5 years, I'm using SAP and I'm using, we are having these 10 departments. Normally 10 departments are there. As I said that enhancement is nothing but changes in the existing process or modification in existing process is called enhancement project. For example, in the organization, already SAP has implemented for all the modules or all the departments like FI, CO, MM, QM, PP, SD, HR. These are the different departments. If the organization enter into a contracts, new business they have started, new business. Apart from these businesses, they have started new business called contracts, right? So for this, we need to introduce, these are the different modules. So for contract accounts, we have one more module called PSM, PS module, project system module. So earlier we have FI module, CO module, MM module, QM, SD, HR modules are there. And company entered into new business called contract accounts. Okay, joint ventures. For this, we need to introduce, they want to use for this also, this business also, SAP only, right? So for that, we need to implement a project system module, PS module. Okay, is required. We need to implement a PS module without disturbing. So we are not supposed to disturb these modules, existing modules. Okay, PS module must be integrated. It has to be implemented and it has to be integrated with the existing module without disturbing them. Then this particular project, we call it as an enhancement project. Same thing again for enhancement project also, we will have 5 to 10 members and duration would be 3 to 9 months, roughly. Understood everyone? What do you mean enhancement project, rollout project, upgradation project, support project and implementation project?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is about your complete literature of SAP. The client server concept, SAP, what are the different documentations will be prepared, clear, what is software development lifecycle, right? What are the different modules are there, right? Why SAP and what are the versions of SAP, right? And what is, we have already discussed R1, R2, R3, what is R1, R2, R3 concept, right? And what are the different ERPs, why SAP is superior than all other ERPs, right? And the invention of SAP. Any question? So tomorrow we will start with SAP practical part. Means first of all, I'll introduce the GUI, graphical user interface of SAP. Clear? How to log in, how to log out and all those stuff tomorrow session. Right? As I said that what is client already discussed. So right, client 800 is our education version. Right? All those session tomorrow we will see. If you want to take the SAP server access, so you can take it by Monday, coming Monday, because Monday onwards we'll pitch into the practical part.
Okay.
Clear? Any questions?
No.
A few words on automation.
Sorry.
Automation in SAP project, we have automation also, right?
Yes, that is a separate project. I'll tell you along with the Tosca tool. Clear? That is a separate that directly will not come into SAP. That particular project will not come into SAP projects. That is a separate project, automation project.
Okay.
Clear? But
Yes.
definitely we are going to see with the Tosca tool.
Okay.
Yeah, any other questions? If no, we can call it for today.
No, sir.
No.
Thank you. See you in tomorrow session, 7:30.
Thank you.
Thank you all.